Bayern Munich want Arsenal man as star signing in the summer. Bayern Munich are reportedly lining up a sensational summer move for Arsenal forward Kai Havertz, with Vincent Kompany's side said to be fully confident of landing the Germany international as a marquee signing ahead of next season. According to Spanish outlet Fichajes, Bayern have identified Havertz as their top attacking target for the summer transfer window, viewing him as a key figure in Kompany's long-term rebuild in Bavaria. The Bundesliga giants are believed to be willing to spare no expense to bring the Arsenal man back to Germany, with the club keen to re-establish homegrown talent as the foundation of future success. Havertz's importance at Arsenal has been highlighted in recent weeks following his return from injury. The 25-year-old suffered a knee problem early in the season and underwent a successful minor surgical procedure at the end of August. While initial hopes suggested a short layoff, the forward only returned to action at the beginning of January, after a carefully managed recovery period. Mikel Arteta has eased Havertz back into the side, rewarding him with a start in Arsenal's emphatic 4-0 Premier League victory over Leeds United last weekend. His impact was then felt in dramatic fashion on Tuesday night, as he came off the bench to score a last-gasp winner against former club Chelsea in the second leg of the League Cup semi-final, sending Arsenal to Wembley with a 4-2 aggregate victory. Bayern reportedly see Havertz as a player who would bring unprecedented tactical flexibility to Kompany's system, capable of operating across multiple attacking roles. The report claims there is mutual interest between the player and the German champions, which could drive negotiations in the coming months. Arsenal defender Jurrien Timber was quick to praise Havertz following his decisive goal, highlighting both the atmosphere and the support shown by the fans. For Kai being out for so long and coming back, the love he gets from the fans says a lot. Timber said, "You could feel it coming. When he went around the goalkeeper, you just knew everyone was going to go crazy." Despite the growing speculation, Arsenal remained focused on the present, with Timber insisting the squad's hunger is stronger than ever. "The desire is there. We are very hungry," he added. "We are in an amazing position." Whether Arsenal can fend off Bayern's interest may become one of the defining storylines of the upcoming summer window. Arsenal booked their place in the Carabao Cup final with a disciplined 1-0 victory over Chelsea at the Emirates Stadium on Tuesday night, sealing a 4-2 aggregate win and setting up a Wembley showdown against either Manchester City or Newcastle United. Having edged a thrilling 3-2 first-leg win at Stamford Bridge earlier this month, Mikel Arteta's side approached the return leg with control rather than chaos, prioritizing defensive solidity over attacking flair. The Gunners showed little urgency going forward, content to protect their advantage and frustrate a Chelsea side that struggled to turn possession into genuine threat. The first half passed without major incident, with both teams canceling each other out in a tense but largely uneventful contest. Chelsea grew into the game after the break, knowing they needed a goal to shift the momentum, but Arsenal remained compact and composed. The hosts came closest first when Gabriel rose highest to meet a second-half delivery, only for his header to be blocked at close range. As Chelsea pushed players forward in the closing stages, spaces began to open up, and Arsenal finally struck. Kai Havertz broke through late on, rounded goalkeeper Robert Sanchez with confidence, and calmly finished to put the tie beyond doubt and spark celebrations inside the Emirates. However, the match was not without controversy, with referee Peter Banks and VAR coming under heavy scrutiny for a series of questionable decisions. The first major incident came after just 17 minutes from an Arsenal corner. Piero Hincapié challenged for a header, and the ball rebounded off Wesley Fofana. Replays clearly showed the Chelsea defender jumping with his arms extended, making contact with the ball using his forearm. Despite this, neither Banks nor VAR intervened, denying Arsenal what looked a clear penalty. A second flashpoint arrived in the final 10 minutes when Gabriel Martinelli attempted to break through on goal. Trevor Chalobah initially made slight contact with the ball, but then raised his leg and brought down the Arsenal winger. Despite furious protests from players and fans alike, Banks waved play on, and VAR again backed the on-field decision after a brief review, leaving the Emirates crowd stunned. While Arsenal ultimately progressed comfortably, the refereeing decisions will dominate post-match discussion. For Arteta and his players, though, the focus now shifts to Wembley, where silverware awaits, and a chance to add another trophy to their season is firmly within reach. Away from the pitch, the January transfer window has officially closed. And while Arsenal were unable to secure a new senior midfielder to replace Merino, the club did confirm a signing for the future. Arsenal have announced the arrival of 18-year-old forward Evan Mooney from Scottish Premiership side St Mirren. The youngster joins the Gunners' academy for an initial fee of £400,000, with a further £400,000 in potential add-ons and a sell-on clause included in the deal. Mooney made 23 senior appearances for St Mirren and notably featured in their Scottish League Cup final victory over Celtic. Announcing the signing, Arsenal said, "Everyone at Arsenal would like to congratulate Evan and welcome him to the club." While the immediate midfield solution did not materialize, Arteta made it clear the club explored all options and will now focus on finding solutions from within as Arsenal continue their pursuit of silverware. Mikel Arteta has urged Arsenal to do everything possible to strengthen the squad before the transfer window slams shut, following a significant injury setback to Mikel Merino. The Spanish midfielder is set for surgery after suffering a rare bone injury to his right foot, leaving the Gunners short in midfield at the attachment stage of the season. Arsenal confirmed over the weekend that Merino sustained the injury towards the end of their clash against Manchester United on January 25th. After specialist reviews, the club revealed that the midfielder will undergo surgery in the coming days and begin a lengthy rehabilitation process, with hopes of returning to full training before the season concludes. While there is optimism over his recovery, Arteta admitted the blow is a serious one. Speaking ahead of deadline day, Arteta said, "He needs to go through a procedure, which is never positive. He is a big player for us, and it's a big blow. It's a fracture and a very rare injury, so we will have to keep monitoring it." The Arsenal boss made it clear the club cannot afford to stand still, particularly with the team still competing on four fronts. Arsenal have explored multiple options to cover Merino's absence. A recall of Ethan Nwaneri from his loan spell at Marseille was discussed internally, but that option has now been ruled out. Attention then shifted to Newcastle United's Sandro Tonali, though the complexity and cost of any deal makes a deadline day move highly unlikely. Ruben Neves also emerged as a potential target, but that door appears to be closing fast, with the Portuguese midfielder expected to commit his future to Al Hilal. Despite the lack of realistic midfield options, Arteta has not hidden his desire for reinforcements, stressing the importance of squad depth during a demanding run-in. In attack, Arsenal's situation is less alarming despite Bukayo Saka also picking up a knock. Arteta offered a cautiously positive update saying, "Today he was better, but we have to see how he responds. It doesn't look too serious." Noni Madueke impressed in Saka's absence, scoring and assisting in the emphatic 4-0 win over Leeds United, easing concerns in the forward areas. With the clock ticking, Arsenal now face a crucial decision. Whether through a bold late move or trust in their current squad, Arteta knows decisive action could define the Gunners' season. Arsenal set to complete shock deadline day. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss any Gunners updates here on Arsenal Stage News. Arsenal are reportedly closing in on a surprise deadline day signing, with St Mirren teenage striker Evan Mooney emerging as a late target for Mikel Arteta's side. While the Gunners have enjoyed a relatively quiet January transfer window, focusing instead on welcoming back key injured players, they now appear ready to make an unexpected move before the transfer deadline slams shut. According to reports, Arsenal are in advanced discussions with St Mirren over a deal for the highly rated 18-year-old, with negotiations centered around a fee believed to be in the region of £265,000. The move has been described as a shock addition, particularly given Arsenal's limited winter activity and their strong depth in attacking areas at senior level. Mooney has been on Arsenal's radar for over a year, having impressed scouts with his maturity and consistency despite his young age. The Scottish striker has already amassed 18 Scottish Premiership appearances alongside cup outings since making his senior debut at just 16. His rapid development has seen him become a regular for the Buddies this season, highlighting his potential as one of Scotland's most exciting young forwards. The teenager was also part of St Mirren's memorable League Cup triumph over Celtic, gaining valuable experience on a big stage and further strengthening his reputation. Arsenal's interest reflects their long-term recruitment strategy, prioritizing young, high-upside talents who can be developed within the club's elite academy system. If the move is completed, Mooney is expected to initially join Arsenal's under-21 setup rather than the first team. With established forwards such as Gabriel Jesus, Kai Havertz, and Victor Gyökeres already in place, immediate senior opportunities may be limited. However, Arsenal's recent track record of promoting youth suggests Mooney could be given a genuine pathway to first-team football. The club has not hesitated to hand minutes to young talents like Ethan Nwaneri, Miles Lewis-Skelly, and Max Dowman, reinforcing their commitment to youth development. Mooney will aim to challenge for a leading role in Arsenal's youth ranks, potentially targeting success in competitions such as the UEFA Youth Cup. While this move may not grab headlines like a marquee signing, it underlines Arsenal's continued investment in the future. If Mooney adapts quickly and continues his upward trajectory, this shock deadline day deal could prove to be a shrewd piece of business for the North London club. Real Madrid's remarkable squad depth continues to attract attention across Europe, with several of their stars now firmly on the radar of Premier League giants. While having an abundance of elite talent is often seen as a luxury, it can also create difficult decisions, especially when multiple world-class players are competing for the same positions. That situation appears to be unfolding at the Santiago Bernabeu, where midfielders Eduardo Camavinga and Arda Güler are now being closely monitored by Arsenal and Liverpool. According to Caught Offside, both Arsenal and Liverpool are tracking Camavinga ahead of a potential summer move, with Real Madrid placing a hefty €100 million price tag on the French international. Camavinga remains under contract with Los Blancos until 2030, but uncertainty surrounding the futures of several players and the possibility of a summer squad reshuffle could open the door to a high-profile exit. Liverpool's interest in Camavinga is not new, with the midfielder previously linked to Anfield as the club looks to rebuild and inject fresh energy into their midfield. With ongoing changes behind the scenes, the Stars may finally be aligning for the Merseyside club to make a serious push. Camavinga has featured 24 times in all competitions this season, contributing 2 goals and 1 assist, while often being deployed in multiple roles across midfield and defense. Arsenal, however, are expected to provide strong competition. Mikel Arteta is keen to strengthen an already competitive midfield as the Gunners aim to establish themselves as the next dominant force in the Premier League. Camavinga's versatility, composure on the ball, and tactical intelligence make him an ideal fit for Arteta's system, despite the significant financial outlay required. Despite the speculation, many believe Real Madrid should do everything possible to retain Camavinga. When given consistent opportunities, he has shown he is one of the most underrated players in the squad, frequently outperforming teammates who have struggled to maintain the required level. Alongside Camavinga, Arsenal are also reportedly keeping tabs on Arda Güler. The Turkish midfielder joined Madrid from Fenerbahce in 2023 for €20 million, carrying huge expectations. Now, just 20 years old, Güler has endured a mixed season and may have anticipated a more prominent role. With over 3 years remaining on his contract, Arsenal are monitoring his situation closely, as Arteta looks to add creativity and youth to his squad ahead of a crucial summer window. As the January transfer window edges closer to its conclusion, Arsenal remain one of the clubs to watch as speculation continues to swirl around potential incomings and outgoings. With the deadline set for the 2nd of February, the Gunners still have time to make decisive moves, although it remains unclear whether Mikel Arteta will act before the window slams shut. On the pitch, Arsenal are focused on bouncing back from last weekend's disappointing Premier League defeat to Manchester United. Confidence has been boosted by a midweek Champions League victory over FC Kairat, which sealed a perfect 100% record in the table phase and underlined Arsenal's European credentials this season. Off the pitch, transfer rumors continue to dominate headlines. One of the biggest stories involves Atletico Madrid forward Julian Alvarez. According to Team Talk, Arsenal have been closely monitoring the Argentine attacker and are seriously considering a future move. Reports suggest the Gunners have regularly scouted Alvarez in recent weeks and may explore a swap deal that could involve Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus, heading in the opposite direction. However, despite growing interest, any such deal is expected to be pursued in the summer rather than January, with Atletico unlikely to sanction a late window exit. Arsenal are also reportedly keeping a close eye on Real Madrid midfielder Eduardo Camavinga. Caught offside claims the North London club are among several sides tracking the French international, with Liverpool currently leading the race. Camavinga is valued at around £86 million, 100 million euros, but Real Madrid are believed to be extremely reluctant to sell, viewing him as a key part of their long-term plans. Nevertheless, Arsenal's interest highlights Arteta's desire to further strengthen his midfield options ahead of next season. Meanwhile, there appears to be movement on the outgoing front. Oleksandr Zinchenko is reportedly closing in on a permanent departure from the Emirates. Sky Sports journalist Anthony Joseph has revealed the Ukrainian defender has completed a medical ahead of a move to Ajax, with the transfer nearing completion. Zinchenko spent the first half of the season on loan at Nottingham Forest, but now looks set to begin a new chapter in the Eredivisie. With the deadline fast approaching, Arsenal's January window may yet deliver more twists, but the bigger moves could be reserved for a busy summer ahead. Arsenal are preparing to increase their interest in Atletico Madrid forward Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez has told his agents he only wants Arsenal, making his position clear. Arsenal are stepping up their pursuit of Atletico Madrid forward Julian Alvarez as Mikel Arteta looks to add a proven, elite goalscorer to his squad. According to reports, the Gunners are now preparing to intensify their interest and are even willing to include players in a swap deal to beat competition from Manchester United and Chelsea for the Argentina international. Alvarez, 25, is understood to be growing increasingly frustrated with life at the Metropolitano, despite a respectable return of 7 goals and 3 assists in 21 La Liga appearances this season. Intermediaries have reportedly contacted clubs on a narrow shortlist as the former Manchester City star pushes for a move, with Arsenal believed to be firmly at the top of that list. Crucially, Alvarez has allegedly informed his representatives that Arsenal are his preferred destination, making his stance clear amid growing Premier League interest. While a move to Barcelona would be Alvarez's dream, the Catalan giant's ongoing financial struggles make such a transfer highly unlikely. That has opened the door for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, and Paris Saint-Germain, though reports suggest the North London club are currently frontrunners. Arsenal chiefs have discussed the deal internally, with scouts sent to watch Alvarez in action over the past 2 weeks, reaffirming a long-standing admiration for the World Cup winner. In a bold attempt to secure the deal, Arsenal are said to be open to offering either Gabriel Jesus or Gabriel Martinelli as part of a potential swap package. Both players have been linked with possible exits in 2026, and sources claim the club would consider their departures if it helped land a striker of Alvarez's caliber. Such a move underlines Arsenal's determination to fix their long-standing issue of inconsistency in front of goal. Former England striker Gary Lineker believes signing Alvarez would be transformational for the Gunners. Speaking on the Rest is Football podcast, Lineker claimed it would be game over for the rest of the Premier League if Arsenal added Alvarez to a front line that already includes Victor Gyökeres, despite the Swede's struggles since arriving from Sporting CP. Lineker praised Alvarez's mentality and big-game pedigree, highlighting his World Cup success and ability to deliver under pressure. Ultimately, Arsenal's interest reflects their ambition to take the final step from title challengers to serial winners. If they can beat rivals to Alvarez's signature, it could mark one of the most decisive moves of Arteta's reign. £80 million star ready to quit Arsenal. Arteta prepared to sell him. Arsenal agree third deal of January transfer window as young defender nears move. Welcome again, Gunners. These are the topic we are going to discuss in today's hot news. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss any Gunners updates here on Arsenal Stage News. Let's get to it. Arsenal could be heading towards one of the most dramatic summers in their recent history, with club captain Martin Odegaard reportedly considering a shock exit from the Emirates Stadium. According to Fichajes, the Norway international is seriously weighing up the idea of leaving North London in search of a new challenge, despite the Gunners enjoying an outstanding season under Mikel Arteta. Arsenal currently sit 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League table, have qualified for the Champions League round of 16 with a perfect 8 wins from 8 in the league phase, remain alive in the FA Cup, and hold a strong advantage after winning the first leg of their Carabao Cup semi-final against Chelsea. On paper, it looks like the perfect environment for a captain to thrive. However, behind the scenes, questions are being raised about Odegaard's long-term future. Since arriving initially on loan from Real Madrid in January 2021, Odegaard has been a central figure in Arteta's rebuild. He was handed the captain's armband in 2022 following the departures of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Alexandre Lacazette, a move that underlined his importance both on and off the pitch. Arteta has previously labeled him phenomenal, and his leadership has been vital during Arsenal's rise back to the top of English football. That said, the current campaign has been challenging for the playmaker on a personal level. Odegaard's form has come under heavy scrutiny after a run of underwhelming performances, with some supporters calling for alternatives, such as Eberechi or highly rated youngster Ethan Nwaneri, to be given more opportunities in the central attacking midfield role. This dip in influence has reportedly contributed to the player's thoughts about seeking a fresh start elsewhere. European giants Bayern Munich and Inter Milan are believed triggered to be closely monitoring the situation. While Arteta is reluctant to lose his captain, Arsenal could be tempted to listen if a substantial offer arrives and Odegaard pushes for a move. The club would demand at least £80 million, which would represent a club record sale, especially considering the midfielder is under contract until 2028. Alongside the uncertainty surrounding Odegaard, Arsenal have also agreed their third deal of the January transfer window. Young centre-back Maldini Kakuri is set to join League Two side Grimsby Town on a permanent transfer. The 20-year-old Albania international impressed during a loan spell at Morecambe earlier this season and will now look to continue his development with regular first-team football. As Arsenal balance immediate success with long-term planning, the coming months could define the future of both their captain and the squad's overall direction. Mikel Arteta, eager for £48 million. Signing as Arsenal plan major summer moves. The January transfer window is rapidly drawing to a close, and while Arsenal's immediate focus appears to be on managing exits, preparations for a significant summer recruitment drive are already well underway. Mikel Arteta and the club's hierarchy are expected to be active once the season ends, with several key targets now emerging. Arsenal have already made moves to streamline their squad this month. Highly rated youngster Ethan Nwaneri has been allowed to leave on loan to gain valuable first-team experience, while Oleksandr Zinchenko is edging closer to a permanent exit. Meanwhile, interest is also growing in Christian Norgard, whose limited involvement this season has raised questions about his long-term future at the Emirates Stadium. Although a January departure is unlikely, a summer sale could be on the cards if the right offer arrives. With midfield reinforcements being considered, Freiburg star Yohan Manzambi has emerged as a serious target. According to reports from Sportsboom, Arsenal are eager to sign the 21-year-old, with Chelsea and Manchester United also monitoring his situation closely. Manzambi has impressed in the Bundesliga this season, registering 4 goals and 5 assists in 26 appearances across all competitions. However, any deal will not come cheap, with Freiburg reportedly valuing their academy graduate at between €50 million and €55 million, £43 million to £48 million. That asking price could prove a stumbling block, but Arsenal are believed to be weighing up whether he is worth the investment. Elsewhere, Arsenal's pursuit of attacking reinforcements has once again brought Atletico Madrid striker Julian Alvarez into the spotlight. The Argentine forward continues to be linked with a potential summer move to North London, with ESPN recently claiming that the Gunners are actively exploring the possibility of a deal. Interestingly, comments from Atletico Madrid officials have added intrigue to Alvarez's situation. Club president Enrique Cerezo admitted there is some uncertainty surrounding the striker, stating, "He's going through a moment where we don't know what's happening to him." However, head coach Diego Simeone offered a far more confident assessment, when questioned about Alvarez's standing at the club. "Seriously? Are you seriously asking me that?" Simeone responded. "Julian Alvarez speaks for himself, because of the name he has, the authority he carries, and the career he's built." With Arsenal eager to strengthen both midfield and attack, the coming months could be decisive as Arteta looks to shape a squad capable of competing on all fronts next season.